Good morning and welcome to today's Renavotio webcast as part of the Planet MicroCap Showcase. It is now my pleasure to turn the floor over to your host, Billy Robinson, Chairman and CEO of Renavotio.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to start off, some people seem to have questions about our name, and the name is derived from the Latin word rena, which means reborn or renew. And, one of our main business goals is to assist in the revitalization of our infrastructure, and that's thus where the name came from. The next is we always have to go into the disclaimer that, we are going to give you forecasted events. We're going to talk about what we believe will happen and what we are in our plan working to make happen, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So that's just a disclaimer to let you know that things may not turn out exactly as we forecast, but we're endeavoring to make that happen. So let's talk about the company. Basically we have, Basically we have a diversified business, and Renavotio is a holding company. And we focus on infrastructure, medical infrastructure or PPE products, utilities, and clean technology-related industries, which would be 5G and possibly, other green-type energy projects in the future. Currently, we have 4 portfolio entities. We have, Renavotio, which is a holding company, which owns Renavotio Infratech and its subsidiary Utility Management and Construction and Crossbow Construction. And these entities allow us to go after the opportunities that still exist in the PPE market and also to service both commercial, state, local municipality, and government-related infrastructure type projects. And that's kind of a broad stroke now as we grow with this new bill that's come out from, the Democratic administration here recently. There's a huge market opportunity for us. We are in the early stages of several different technology adaptations that are coming into the infrastructure play, both in smart city utility management and monitoring, and of course the 5G expansion not only in the cosmopolitan areas, but there is a lot of focused expansion in the rural areas, which is where our sweet spot is for the company. Part of our growth is going to be both organic and through acquisitions, and we're doing both to increase our bidding capacity and our footprint with the operating companies currently and looking for opportunities in the marketplace to help facilitate and build on that. Been doing this a long time. I'm not going to toot my own horn. We have some really great engineering and technical people involved and are looking and constantly opening the doors for other management-related individuals that can bring not only a background of experience and knowledge, but also new growth potentials through the information that they've acquired recently. The operators of the companies that we acquire, they always stay with the business. They have multiple years in the business. In most cases, they either founded it or acquired it many years ago. So consequently, we keep that management in place so we don't have a turnover both in the employees that make it happen and vendors and other client relations that were developed by the managers or owners themselves. So let's talk about what we've done. It's basically been a year since we started this path together. We started off with Success Entertainment Group. They had some overseas subsidiaries that didn't meet the business model that we had come into the company with. So we sold off those subsidiaries. We completely extracted ourselves from the overseas market with those particular entities and their business model. We changed the name, of course, to Renavotio. We changed our ticker symbol. We've expanded our marketing plans. We brought Kevin Harrington on board as an advisor to the company, and his company, one of his companies, Sincere Transact, is working with us to develop a marketing website. They've already built some lead generation sites for us. It's creating a large database, and we intend on very shortly launching a marketing program on the relationships that we've developed. The first one was with VerifyMe, and that came about basically because of the issues that you run into in the PPE market. It's a constant battle. You're dealing in most cases with overseas suppliers. There are some U.S. suppliers that we've done business with. Consequently, though, their pricing is high, their products are not as well known, and it's been a tougher sale for that. On the overseas products, though, we've already experienced, counterfeiting issues and misrepresentation of products. So to eliminate that, we've initiated a program to deal directly with the manufacturers of the product, to utilize inspection services that are globally known and bonded, and to implement, with the help of VerifyMe, we've already purchased 2 million of their security trackers, and we're in the process of our first orders that will be coming in, applying those security trackers, knowing that the product's been inspected, the boxes are sealed, and with a simple scanner device that you download on your phone, you can check the original destination where it came from, the production time, all of the pertinent information that anyone wanting to buy or sell the product would need, as well as a tie-in to both VerifyMe and our websites. The second is a master distribution agreement with ResGreen. We currently are working a number of leads in various industries that could utilize the Rwanda robot. It has other aspects and could grow into some other market uses for that product, but right now it's in the sterilization of fixed facilities, hotels, restaurants, airports, government facilities, a number of different facilities. And we hope to see some results from that product very shortly. In February, we started our what I would call our contract buy with the PP supplier overseas. We got a purchase order for $2.1 million collectively for the first loads that are coming in. And in March, we secured a second purchase order for another $1.8 million. That process is currently in the logistics mode, and we anticipate delivery and the expansion of our production program we're going to utilize with VerifyMe sometime before the end of this second quarter. When you talk about what we've done, this was basically a dead company. Did $233,000 last year in some meeting and marketing type seminars. We came in, again, about this time last year, took a couple of months to get our feet on the ground, and, in the last 6 months of last year, which includes just a partial year for our acquisitions, because until we completed the audits, we didn't really have a true consolidation of all the revenues. So our revenue model that we reported of $4.1 million, which was up over 1,600%, was based on when the audits went in place and the actual consolidation went in place. We'll have full year reporting on all entities this year, so of course we're going to anticipate a much better year this year than last year. Assets went from $46,000 to $4.6 million, up over 9,000%, and we went from a negative net worth to a positive net worth. So maybe this isn't the barn burner that everybody somebody would hope, but I think that in a short period of time, we're moving on a very positive path forward. So we have two synergistic segments that are between the two. The infrastructure services, which basically we become the utility company. We go into small rural water districts, small cities, small communities, and we take over the water plant or the sewer plant. We collect the money. We go in and try, in most cases, to start implementing smart city type programs where we replace the old mechanical water meters with smart meters. We put in monitoring systems to monitor the water quality and flow and chemical content so that we don't have any issues, because one of the things that allows people or incentivizes groups to go with us is that when you're a small town, you can't hire the proper people. You don't have the engineering or chemical expertise background, and so consequently sometimes the water gets out of whack and you get fined by the EPA. These are all costs these small cities can't can't and don't want, and we take over that. We do the EPA filings. We keep them current with that. We monitor the water quality, and consequently, in most cases, these small towns that were running in a negative cash flow, now we're going in a positive cash flow. This also creates other opportunities on both sides. With the GIS mapping and smart utility sensors that we can put in, that creates another business model for our utility management division, which is utility management and construction and crossbow construction. We also get first right of refusal on all of the infrastructure expansion. So as we take over the system, we do an analysis of it. We do water flow analysis. We use infrared cameras to detect water leakage or sewer leakage, and in that way, we can identify where there's leakage problems, both in possible ground contamination from sewer and lost revenues from water leaking, which unfortunately in our country, over 30% of all the water that's going through the water lines is getting lost out through bad water lines. And that's part of what we hope we'll see, from the infrastructure bill. So we get that opportunity to replace those systems. So consequently, we get crossover business on both sides with the relationships that we have. So, how do we look at infrastructure? First of all, just by 2029, there's needs to be $5.9 trillion spent. And that's based on 2021 infrastructure report card, where we're at. And that probably, as we start getting into digging things up and realizing the expansion costs that are necessary for not only water and sewer, but electrical and 5G, those costs are probably going to increase. So as you can see through the charts, there's a great amount of opportunities in the areas that we handle, which would be the drinking, wastewater, stormwater, and as you see, there's very little in electricity, and don't see anything on here about 5G. So that's another whole opportunity that we've started after, and that we'll start seeing some results on, later on in the year. So our services, we have municipal water replacement projects. Currently, we're bidding on several, because one of the issues that happened with COVID is the infrastructure expansion or contracts virtually shut down. So the construction side of our business, basically was just treading water for the past 6 to 9 months, a little bit longer. And now with the vaccine out and some cities opening up, others not, but the ones that are opening up, which are in our footprint right now, multiple contracts are coming out, multiple opportunities. And one of the things that was holding back the utility side on our infrastructure contract bidding was that you had to be an audited company in order to register with all these towns. Now, and utility management was not, and Crossbow was not. Now they are. So we have begun that process of starting to register with all these municipalities. That puts us in another level of opportunity that our competition in many cases are not able to compete. So it not only gives us opportunity going after the projects, it also potentially will expand our bonding capacity, which gives us the ability to go after more. So we have a vertical market that we're going after. We have smart city, utility, and energy management, because in these towns that we're going into, in some cases they have cogen plants. In some cases they manage the gas system, or the gas system runs an electrical system that provides electricity to the area. So as we move into these areas, that opportunity is going to pop up. The ISPs with 5G expansion happening, many of these are old school, been owned by the same family for a long period of time, so they're ripe for acquisition. And we now have the ability, because we're an audited entity, to bid across the board on federal, state, and municipal projects. And these not only could be what they call potholing. It's where you go out and you do a pre-search of the existing utilities. You drill down with potholing equipment, which we have, which is a piece of equipment that uses air and water and cuts a hole 20, 30 feet deep, and you uncover the utilities without damaging them. Then you go in with your smart tagging systems, and you tag it, and you create a 3D virtual map of the existing utilities. So when they start the new work, they know what's there so they don't tear it up. So there's multiple opportunities across the board for us, with this targeted vertical market that we're going after. So we'll talk about the different internal operating companies we have. Utility Management Corp is the first one. It owns Utility Management and Construction. This is an old company. It's been out there since 1962, so they've got a great name. The problem is they were, a local-owned, what I would call mom and pop, and so they were very good within their footprint, but they never looked outside of it. The beauty of this business model is there is virtually hundreds and hundreds of the same size, same style of company all through what I call our footprint, which would be from eastern Missouri through southern Kansas, through northern Oklahoma, northern Texas, some southern part of Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Colorado touching the border. So there's a huge footprint of opportunities available to us that if we just focused in that, the growth potential is going to be exponential over what it's been this last year. But we go after rural water districts, public trust or authority. We do everything. We do the accounting for them. We do billing. We're the ones in the trucks that go out, in the uniforms and pull the meters, turn them on. It's the line breaks, we fix it. We're everything you would see in a city, a large city utility, or maintenance infrastructure type management system. So part of the things that we've got to do, you've got to stay on top of what's going on within that particular region as you're doing this work, because the water line, if the water goes down or the sewer backs up, they're going to be on you for that. And it seems that my slide is thinking here. So I will just move on to the next one. Hopefully this one will pop up. There we go. So one of the things we have started doing is that we have started implementing what I would call the smart city type methodology. And so we're utilizing a technology that's being used in the U.S. and South America and in a number of areas. We license the technology, so we're not the owners of it, but it allows us to go in with the tagging system and tag the water lines or tag the sewer lines, or in some cases tag fiber optic lines or cable lines. And we, you stand over the site, it gives you your GPS location, you take a picture, you tag the depth, that information is all collected automatically, and it systematically starts building a map of where all the lines flow. And then ultimately you have that map for going back for future reference to uncover lines and fix breakage or add on to it, or if there's new infrastructure work, it prevents any type of issues as far as cutting the lines or doing anything that may damage the existing infrastructure that's in place. As I said, our meter reading is becoming fully automated. We also, it's become a business model for us as we have expanded our own region that we're managing. Regions outside ours is seeing the efficiency that this provides, and it's allowed us to actually get contracts installing meters and doing water line replacement and installation work outside the current region that we're in. So it's created a new business model that opens up vertically several different doors for us in the future. But like I said, we have to go out, we have a lab, we have to go out, test the water, make sure that everything's okay, keep it within the compliance for EPA and not cause any problems, to the customer base that's downline. So Crossbow Construction, they're the vertical recipient of the work that utility management does, because as we're doing the management of the projects and understand, the water loss issues and start bringing proposals to the municipalities and or the districts of things they need to replace, then that gives us an opportunity as a primary or preferential contract to do the work. And it also, as we do that work, it builds a reputation base for us, which Crossbow's been around for multiple years and is allowing us now to bid on a number of projects that are going all throughout our footprint here in Oklahoma. And, it also has opened up some opportunities, within our, what I would call our 500 mile circumference of our facilities here to go after other projects in southern Kansas or eastern Missouri and, expand our footprint as those are let. So Renavotio Infratech, and, that was born out of the pandemic. And, we focused primarily on just three products, and that's masks, gloves, and gowns. We had arrangement with the U.S. manufacturer in the beginning of the pandemic when there was a shortage of gowns, and sold, thousands and thousands of them here in the U.S. We've now got arrangements with both a large U.S. manufacturer and overseas. That hasn't been the primary shortage area of recent, and the shortage area has been gloves. So consequently, we have done some spot buys with our products are coming into the country as we speak, and have developed some direct relationships with the manufacturers that are well known, super well accepted in the U.S. that we can bring product directly from the manufacturer directly to the end user, thus being very, very competitive, and the margins for the company, at the end of the day, it could be in the 20% range. It doesn't sound like a lot maybe, but when you're when really you're just handling logistics, so your actual true operating costs are already being absorbed in your SG&A, and it's a straight pass-through, and the numbers, could potentially be extremely large, as you've seen just through the first test POs that we've gotten on the gloves. This could be a nice revenue stream for us, in the future, a nice recurring revenue stream. And to protect us, as I said, that is why we reached out to Verify Me. They have, they have a very unique patented system. It's probably one of the most advanced in the world. You can actually put a individual watermark if you want, and then use a special scanner to make sure the product that was made is the product that is delivered. And then they have mobile authentication, which is like a sticker that's tamper-proof that you apply to the to where the box closure area is, so that if somebody opens it or does something that compromises the integrity, you immediately know, and a number, any kind of information that you want to put into that tag with a scanner on your phone, it's a QR code, then you can get multiple information related to that. And then, as Wanda's a recent situation we put in place, and, with the PPE connections that we've made through selling gloves, masks, and gowns, all of these facilities also have the same issue with keeping them clean, making sure they're germ-free. And, UV lights are one of the most, well-known and oldest type historical ways to kill bacteria and germs. So consequently, this is a very unique and very cost-effective product. Many products similar to this, cost, tens of thousands of dollars. Wanda is, in the $6,000 to $7,000 range at the end of the day. A little more depending on the features that are on it, and it allows you to go in and program a pattern for it to go through the facility while people aren't there and sterilize the facility. It's got a fail-safe on it that if someone walks in, so they don't get any damage from the UV rays, it automatically turns off. And we've started exploring through our contacts a number of opportunities with this, and again, we expect to start seeing results from this in the second and third quarters. Let's talk about our leadership team, and this is just in the upper management. This doesn't include all of the sub-engineering and engineering and historical experience quality employees that we have in the subs. But, I've been doing this a long time, over 30 years, probably over 35 years. I'm starting to place my age. Dr. Robert Mackey, he was VP of engineering at Bama Companies. They made food products. He ran all of the production type equipment. We even helped design some of it. He has a doctorate in biosystems engineering, and he runs the utility management division of the company. So he oversees making sure that everything goes proper with managing the water and the sewer systems, and has developed relationships that will be utilized in future acquisitions in similar type companies to utility management. Brian Kistler was one of the original officers who was with Success when we took them over. He has been in the business like I have for over 30 years. He's also an arbitrator with FINRA, which, to be approved by them is a pretty significant task. And he's a veteran as well as a state police officer. So he has had numerous areas in both securities, and financial regulatory. So he's a great addition to our team. Steve Chen was, he's a major shareholder with the company. He was the gentleman that ran the marketing and motivational speaking division that we sold. He currently still does that, but he has, a number of contacts, and since some of the business that we still do related to the PPE business is overseas, he can be, very, he can be a great advantage to help in some of those areas. But also just is a great guy and has been a good, inspirational board member for us. And as many of you know, Kevin Harrington is a well-known figure. He's the original shark on Shark Tank. We've developed a good, close relationship, and he's been doing this direct sales game for a long, long time, and he has brought some ideas that we're implementing, and you'll start seeing the results from those, hopefully in the second and third quarters as well. Joe Abrams, he's a software engineer background, software tool works. He sold his business. He also was one of the, which ultimately became MySpace, which was well known, but it's been sold to News Corp. And again, vast industry experience. Also himself is in the PPE medical distribution business. So he again brings a lot of help both in that arena and for our technology expansion that we're doing throughout the company. So in conclusion, we've got a tactical focus. We've gone after attractive, growth-oriented businesses. Our goal, and we've been starting to become successful at it, is to create shareholder value. We're not an overnight, from a penny to a dollar company, but we're, building a slow, steady growth. Under 2 cents when we got involved, and it's 5 or 6 today, and hopefully it'll be higher in the future. I can't guarantee or forecast what that will be, but if we follow our plan, which we've been doing, which was to clean up the balance sheet, to increase the asset value, to expand our fundraising capabilities that are non-dilutive as possible, and if we raise capital, they're in a non-dilutive or not like a death spiral type situation. It's where we're utilizing capital that they may become a partner and invest at our current market price, or it may be a future market price. However, it's based on the current value of the company and not some discounted dollar amount that can damage you and damage us, because we're all shareholders too. And our ultimate goal is just like you guys out there, is to increase the value of the company so that we continue to grow and that this becomes one of our retirement-oriented stocks that's in our portfolio for a long, long time. The capital that we have, we allocate it to grow the company. We allocate it for acquisitions not only that we've completed, but future ones that we've targeted and, possibly may be in talks with. We're going to talk about acquisitions when they're done, not when we're looking at them, because things change, as you know, and we're not going to go down that path anymore. But the sectors we're looking at is the PPE only with direct contacts with manufacturers and creating long-term reoccurring revenue contracts with the manufacturer to an end user. Infrastructure, of course, would be not only in the utility management side that we're already in, but possible utility construction companies that, again, maybe have been in an area and established a toehold or better than a toehold and have some reoccurring business that's set up with a client base that they've been using for a number of years. And then, there's always, R&D opportunities come out. So, we not only are going to work with other companies that already have gone through the proof of concept, like VerifyMe and Wanda, and then market those products, but as we grow, we already know of other technologies or directions that we think the market could utilize in infrastructure space, and we'll either develop some of that on our own. Probably in most cases we'll use an outside developer and then get some type of a global license area. But that's another area that could add value to the company, not only from owning the product, but could create a reseller network that could create revenue for us that we're not having to manage. We're bringing the opportunity, and others would manage that. So the initial roll-up was the 3 companies we talked about. We're expanding, both looking at engineering opportunities, because, the engineering firms, that's where it starts. They get a opportunity to design a project. They have to go out and figure it out. That opens up the door for, numerous opportunities that then can be funneled down to the utility management and to, cross-flow construction. So, or the infrastructure construction side. We are staying in North America, and realistically, we're probably staying in the Midwest because that's an area that we can manage effectively. If it's in a 500-mile radius, we could get in a car and we can drive there in a day and a half max. So we can put eyes on, get what I call belly to belly, and manage and stay on top of the projects. And we're going to make acquisitions. We have been looking. In order to do that, you got to have capital in place and getting our financials in proper order, and to get our applications and opportunities in place with, conventional banking facilities or other types of financial or private institutions that can invest in it. That gives us the backing now to start expanding our model, because we can not only use stock as a currency, and we may not want to use it now because of the price. We may want to use some type of a future price preferred, and or just pay cash and use debt as an acquisition model that's non-dilutive. So that's basically our game plan, and I hope this has been informative to everybody. And if anybody has questions, I'm happy to ask them now. And Matt, I think you're out there looking at those questions. So if you've got one for me, fire away, sir.
I think we're out of time.
Okay. Well, then, gentlemen, I guess we're done. And if anybody's got questions, just send them to the info at Renavotio, and I'll respond to them. I think any of you that do email me know that I'm pretty responsive. So I'm happy to answer questions directly if you guys have some. Anyway, everyone have a great day, and I'm signing off. Thank you.
Thank you. This does conclude today's webcast. Thank you for your participation, and have a wonderful day.